What if I told you there was a practical path to performing miracles? Now, I'm not talking about parting the seas or anything like that. I'm talking about a deep, profound transformation within yourself that might seem completely impossible right now. Today, we're going to dive into a system that claims there's a step-by-step method to do exactly that. And it all begins with a pretty shocking idea that you are asleep.
But first, let's just start with a fundamental question. Think about your day so far. All the little decisions you made, the things you did, the thoughts that popped into your head. Did you actually do them? Or did they just kind of happen? This whole system kicks off by challenging the one thing we all take for granted, that we're actually in control.
And this quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of it. We think we choose to get angry. We think we choose to daydream or choose what we're about to say. But from this point of view, no, those are just reactions. They happen to us. The real work, that practical path to miracles, it can't even begin until we really, truly, emotionally get how little control we have.
Okay, so if we're not in control, then what in the world are we? The system gives a pretty jarring answer. For the most part, we're simply sleeping machines. They call this state mechanicalness. And the idea here is pretty radical. It's not about judging what you do as good or bad. You could write a brilliant poem, but if you do it on autopilot, it's just as mechanical as washing dishes without thinking. The only thing that matters is the absence of a conscious directing presence. Was anybody actually home when it happened? So how does this mechanicalness actually show up in our daily lives? Well, the system points to these four things as the main ways our energy just leaks out. I mean, think about it. That endless chatter in your own head, the daydreams that lead absolutely nowhere, the small, pointless lies we tell, and of course, just indulging in negative emotions. These aren't just bad habits. According to this view, they're the main things the sleeping machine actually does.
All right, so why are we so mechanical? The diagnosis is that we're not a single, unified person. We're a house divided against itself.
The idea is that we're made of different centers, or minds, that are all operating on their own, and usually they're fighting with each other. You know how it is. Your intellectual center uses logic and decides, okay, we're going on a diet. But then your emotional center sees a piece of cake and says, ooh, I like that. And your instinctive center just feels a pang of hunger. Who do you think wins that battle? Yeah, probably not the logical one. There's no manager, no central HQ.
So here's the crucial point. The you that makes a big New Year's resolution is a completely different I from the you that breaks it a week later. We are literally a crowd of contradictory I's. Each one grabs the microphone for a minute, pretends to be the boss, and that's why we can never have any consistent, willed action. Now I know, that's a pretty bleak diagnosis, but after laying all that out, the system actually offers a solution. It describes a very specific path that's designed to wake up the machine and unify the self, and it's called the fourth way. This quote just illustrates the whole situation perfectly. If you don't know you're in prison, you're never even going to try to escape. But the moment you realize it, you also realize you can't just dig your way out with a spoon. You need a plan. You need help from people who have already escaped. And that's what a school is in this system. It's the knowledge, the map that's been passed down. And the person who claimed to have found that map and brought this system to the West was G.I. Gurdjieff. He calls it the fourth way because it was different from the three traditional paths: the way of the fakir, which is mastery over the body, the monk, mastery over emotion, and the yogi, mastery over the mind. The fourth way was designed to work on all three of those things at once, right in the middle of our normal everyday lives. This brings us to the most practical part of this whole thing. If we really are sleeping machines, how exactly are we supposed to wake up? What are the actual tools we can use to do this work? Okay, so the process is basically threefold. It all starts with self-observation. That means just watching yourself like you'd watch a stranger with zero judgment. From there, you try to practice self-remembering, which is this conscious effort to feel, I am here, right now. It's like you're splitting your attention. Part of it is on the world outside, and part of it is on yourself inside. Now, these first two steps, they build up the energy for the third one, conscious struggle. This is where you intentionally go against an automatic habit. The goal isn't just to break the habit, but to use the friction of that struggle to create a tiny spark of real consciousness.
And this quote is such a fantastic example of how concrete and down to earth this work is. The aim isn't some big, lofty, abstract idea. It's practical. For this particular person, the miracle begins with the simple, conscious struggle to just not talk so much. The work is always grounded in these small, observable habits of our day-to-day lives.
So, what's the ultimate goal here? What's the point of all this observation and struggle? It's the creation of something that the ordinary person just doesn't have. A real, unified will. The power to actually do. And look at that, we've come full circle. We start by realizing we can't really do anything. That illusion of control is exactly what prevents us from doing the one thing we can do, work on ourselves. It's by observing our own mechanicalness and struggling with it that we slowly, bit by bit, build an inner capacity for conscious action. First in small things, and then in bigger ones.
Now, this diagram looks incredibly complex, I know, but you can think of it like a map of an inner factory. The system says we're constantly processing 3 kinds of food: the actual food we eat, the air we breathe, and all the sensory impressions we take in. In the sleeping machine, this factory is super inefficient, but, and this is the key, at certain points in the process, a conscious effort like self-remembering can act like a catalyst. It transforms these raw materials into finer, higher energies. And those are the very substances you need to build a unified self and a stable consciousness. This is the practical miracle we've been talking about. It's a kind of internal alchemical transformation.
Which really just leaves us with a final thought. This system doesn't promise happiness, it doesn't promise success. It promises something much more fundamental, a chance to awaken from sleep. And it poses the ultimate question. If everything you've done in your life so far has just happened to you, what could you truly do if you were finally really awake?